Hi, I will be talking about the new constitutional amendment that were established this summer in Russia, since it is a pretty interesting subject and that I was eager to learn more about it. As you must already know, each country has their proper rules and sentences, which depends on the form of government in power. Unfortunately, several laws nowadays are known as controversial, which means that it privileges only a portion of society. The bill that allowed the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, to stay in power for over a decade is indeed one of these laws. These modifications to the constitution gave Putin different options for when his current term in office ends in 2024, and so much more. I will be explaining what a constitutional amendment is and the impact it had and will have in the future. To sum up, I will be answering how does the new constitutional amendment will affect Russia in the upcoming years. A constitutional amendment is the modification of a law from the constitution. They aim to alter current laws that wish to be changed by at least two-thirds of the population. The 3rd July 2020, Putin signed the executive order to officially integrate the new amendment to the constitution of the Russian Federation. The addition of these laws is controversial for three main reasons. First, it is explicitly forbidden by Russian law to pass a constitutional amendment collectively, which has been done. Next, the plebiscite supporting the vote of the Russian population was thwarted. Finally, the constitution of Russia cannot be modified without a constitutional convention, which did not occur. These new laws will generate many consequences. To begin with, the president will now have immunity after leaving office. Indeed, some former presidents were being prosecuted for faults done while in service once they were out of power. The new law allows them protection from prosecution for the crimes committed as a president. Secondly, Russian citizens now must abandon other foreign country citizenships to have the possibility to obtain the Russian citizenship. The amendment also declares the importance of a belief in God. This may well be the most controversial amendment that was added in 2020. The Russian constitution specified that Russians should maintain the memory of ancestors who transferred the idea of the belief in God to us. Our ancestors, like they said, were the Soviet Russia political power holders, and at no time contributed for any religious belief. Just the opposite, they tried to exterminate religious belief. In addition, any alliance between people of the same gender will not be considered by the law of marriage. The reform holds as well that Russia must defend the historical truth about World War II. Finally, it is now mentioned in the Russian constitution that Russia is the legal successor of the USSR. The Russian president gave multiple reasons to extend his role as head of state. Initially, Putin acknowledged that this change was justified by the need for stability in a turbulent and unpredictable world. He desired to put the Russian constitution before international laws. In other words, international treaties will not be admissible on the Russian territory if what is being said contradicts in any way the constitution of the Russian Federation. Also, judges and officials touring in Russia ought to be forbidden to detain a residence or citizenship from a foreign country. It will be even more harsh on presidential candidates who also need to have lived permanently on the territory of Russia for the previous 25 years. He also wants to give the right to the state of Donbass to select the cabinet of ministers. By doing that, he diminished the power of his future heir to the presidency, and he will be less subject to attack from his part. The Russian president gave multiple reasons for the extension of his role as the head of state. Initially, Putin acknowledged that this change was justified by the need for stability in a turbulent and unpredictable world. He desired to put the Russian constitution before international laws. In other words, international treaties will not be admissible on the Russian territory if what is being said contradicts in any way the constitution of the Russian Federation. Also, judges and officials featuring in Russia ought to be forbidden to detain a residence or citizenship from a foreign country. It will be even more harsh on presidential candidates who also need to have lived permanently on the territory of Russia for the previous 25 years. He also wants to give the right to the State of Duma to select the cabinet of ministers. By doing that, it diminishes the power of his future heir to the presidency, and he will be less subject to attack from his part. Last and not least, he has for intention to radically increase the role of regional governor in the development and adoption of decisions in the federal level. All these changes obviously made Russian citizens react. Putin's popularity dropped below 60% for the first time, and two-thirds of young Russians think Vladimir Putin should step back from power. Despite all these negative outcomes, only one of the 85 regions voted against the change. However, the strong underlying rate of support masked the fact that turnout was low in many regions. 22 million votes may also have been fraudulent, since the exact same tactic was utilized during other interior elections. Indeed, prizes were given to people from eastern Ukraine with Russian passports to encourage them to cross the border and vote for the constitutional amendments. You may have noticed that all these modifications are for a common objective to strengthen the power of the president. The stronger presidentialism will therefore have significant repercussions on Russia. For instance, the additional strength and power detained by the head of states can produce conflicts between the president and the prime ministers. Also, it will lead to a more repressive and authoritative regime. While parliamentaries give flexibility to the political process, presidentialism makes it rather rigid. This new amendment gives Vladimir Putin the authority to remove judges, appoint some members of parliament for life, and name regional prosecutors, which was the role of judges. This alteration will demolish the independence of the High Court. Additionally, like it has already been mentioned, Russia can disobey to international treaties and policy if it goes against the constitution. All these modifications escort Russia towards centralization of the power toward a unique person. Foremost, resistance to the new distribution of power might be expected from the Russian republics and regions, whose power stood to be considerably reduced. A greater balance between the various branches of power can also be anticipated, along with a possible turn in future state policy. Ultimately, the new amendment might undermine the integrity of the law, since some of the concepts recently added to the Constitution clearly goes against some of the fundamental laws who were already pre-established in the initial Constitution. Widening ballot access will be also envisaged in the upcoming years. Some also believe that it will lead directly Russia to a growing corruption. To conclude, the Russian constitutional amendments of 2020 will mark the future of Russian citizens and will impact along the way other countries. A lot of changes have happened in the past few months in Russia, and much more can be expected. However, all these changes aim to the same principal goal, which is to give Russia its power back and to strengthen the president's authority.